to the Sassy Sheep podcast. My name is Saskia and this is my second episode. I'm so overwhelmed with all the positive responses that I got last week from my very first podcast, and I've even have subscribers, and thank you very much everybody. I'm really happy with that. That people really want to see what I've been making and what I've been doing, and I think that's very flattering. Thank you everybody. Today I'm going to tell you a bit more about what I've been doing last week, about our visit to Amsterdam, about my yarn dyeing adventures, and let's see what I'm going to tell you about what I've been knitting this week, and well, maybe more, we'll see. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as SassysheepNL. On YouTube you can find me when you search for Sassy Sheep. Well, that's me. You see my little logo with the sassy sheep, and you can subscribe, so please do. First things first, what I've been doing this last week. I've been knitting on my Find Your Fade, but I haven't knit on it as much as I would have liked because I've been distracted by dyeing wool, and our visit to Amsterdam was very warm and it was very crowded there, but it was a lot of fun. It takes us 2.5 hours to go to Amsterdam by train, so I had quite some knitting time that day, but it was very warm, so it didn't go as fast as I normally knit on the train, and well, it was far too warm to knit in Amsterdam. We had 30 degrees Celsius, which is quite warm. We went on a boat ride, which was a lot of fun. But before I tell you too much about Amsterdam, because then I will tell you about all the things that I've bought there, and I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do that later in the episode. But now I want to show you my new Find Your Fade. My new Find Your Fade. No, it's not new. Oh, I've dropped something. I'm gonna go grab it. My Find Your Fade. I had quite some progress since the last time that I've recorded, because when I recorded the first episode I had some technical difficulties with my editing program that just didn't work the way I planned, so I had to buy a new editing program, and that took me a little while, a couple of days to get it installed and everything next to my work and all my knitting and all my wool dyeing adventures. So I haven't been able to put it online real quick. So the last time that I've recorded this was almost 2 weeks ago today. So that means that I did have quite a lot of progress since the last time, because if I remember correctly, I had just cast on the banana legs colorway after I knitted the wild card. For those of you who don't know what a Find Your Fade is, who haven't seen the first episode, a Find Your Fade is a shawl by Andrea Renee. Andrea Renee Knits is her Instagram, and she's a very talented designer, and she made this beautiful, gorgeous, big shawl and it changes color. It also has lace bits in it, and it's a great pattern. I am kind of ready to finish it. That doesn't have anything to do with the pattern itself. It has more to do with the fact that I want to try something new now. I'm ready for another project. But I'm getting along, so that's a good thing. Well, this is my fade. I already showed you last week. I start with the Hedgehog Fibers Barley. I go to the Monet. Then I switch to the Wild Card. Oh, sorry, this is Boombox. This is the Boombox colorway by Hedgehog Fibers. And here you have the Wild Card, and I was about here. Last time that I was just changing the color, so melting in the new color. And as you can see, I have had quite a bit of progress. And looking at it now, I'm thinking, I thought that I wasn't really getting along with it. Or, I mean, I was getting along with it, but I mean, I wasn't really having progress with it. But I think I am. I'm going to go a bit backwards so I can show you the shawl itself. Here it is, and it's so big, but it's gorgeous, and I'm really now in the last bit, and this is it's like a symmetrical shawl, so it goes from the bottom to the top like this, and then it goes like that. It's great. When I finish that, I'll show you the complete shawl. I really hope to finish this week and that I can show you the finished shawl next week, but I'm not promising anything. And look how beautiful it looks when you wrap it around you. It's gorgeous. And what I did not expect when I started to knit this pattern was that it's a summer shawl. It's a spring and summer shawl. And you think, why? It's so huge. Yes, it is. So you can also wear it in winter, of course. But it's difficult to wear this huge thing underneath a coat. When you have a small shawl like my dotted race I have here, I'll show you this. Well, a dotted race doesn't have to be small, but I mean it's a thin shawl. At least mine is, because I used a small needle. I think this was made on a 3mm needle. And when I wear it like this, you know, you're able to wear it under a coat. I'm going to see if I can show you this a little bit better. Yes, see, you can wear this under a coat. Your coat closes like this. I have this beautiful, colorful thing. Well, that's not an option with a Find Your Fave because it's too big. It has too much yarn in it, and you will have like this under your coat. You will wear it like this. I don't think so. So for chilly spring mornings or chilly summer nights when you sit outside, this is the perfect shawl. And it's not that thick also, because you have those beautiful lace sections. You can see that. And now I'm working on the hula hoop colorway. I've shown you the hula hoop. I've shown you the hula hoop colorway last week, and it's a gorgeous colorway, don't you think? It looks great. It's very colorful and it suits this shawl. It's a summer shawl for me. And when you use with these lace sections, who are very open, it's kind of airy, and that's nice. So for me, this is the perfect summer shawl, and I'm going to wear it a lot. So I really want to finish it. I hope to finish it next week. And when I finish it, I'm going to be so happy. I think I'm going to work on my all the angle shawl then, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't finished, I haven't knit on any other projects last week because I really want to finish this fade. I want to make it work. I want to be able to say I'm done with it. Well, that's not going to happen today, but I hope this week. And the other things that I've been doing this week are, let me see. Yes, I've been dyeing wool. I was already dyeing some wools with food coloring because I have not this huge kitchen that's separated from our living room. We have a kitchen and living room in one. That means that I'm not able to really close off the kitchen so that no animals can come there when I'm using chemicals. And I also dye a lot with my 12-year-old daughter, and I thought it's not really a good thing to, rearranging a bit so I can sit up more straight. I was saying about, yeah. And because my 12-year-old daughter sometimes helps me with dyeing yarn, I don't want her to be in all those chemicals. And last week the weather was very nice, so I decided to try to dye with chemical dyes. I ordered it 2 weeks ago. No, I ordered it 10 days ago, but I did not receive the full package at once because they did not have all the yarns in stock, but they did have two skeins in stock, two merino 100% merinos that I've ordered, and oh my, I'm not going to show you them yet. They are so soft, they are so squishy. I love the way they feel, I love the way they look, and I experimented with dyeing. I already experimented with the wool dyes on with the food coloring. For instance, this one I've shown you already last week. This is I Never Promised You a Rose Garden colorway, and it's great. And using only food coloring on a base that has already been processed, because this already had a little bit of color. It was a skein with a very soft green and a very soft pink. That inspired me anyway to use this as well, because it inspired me to try that. You can see it over here that it still looks, this very light section where I did not let the dye be too bright. You can see that it already had that almost the same color as this one, but very soft and mild. I'm not a very soft and mild colored person. I'm not into neutrals. I'm not really into pastels. Sometimes I think they look great, but not for shawls or garments for myself. So I dyed this up and I was really happy with the results. And then, you know, you get interested in trying something more, and you're a bit jealous of all the other lovely indie dyes, and you think, I want to make those for myself as well. So I decided to try and dye wool myself, and I was a bit insecure because you're doing this for the first time using real dye, and you have your mask on and your gloves on, and you have your pot on the stove, and it goes warmer and warmer, and you think, oh my, is this going to work? Well, it worked better. It worked a lot better than I had expected. I was kind of surprised. I have been thinking about this colorway that I've been trying to find for, I think, a year already, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the right colorway. I was thinking about this black and purple and pink colorway with maybe a bit white left, but very speckled, and a bit of a rocky colorway, rock chick colorway, and I couldn't find the right colors because I really wanted a really dark skin and a lighter skin to join it, so I could make it into a scarf or something beautiful, but I never could find that colorway. So I thought, well, I have ordered those colors, why don't I try to make it myself? Well, I'm so surprised. It turned out great. But it didn't really turn out the way that I had expected it. The first time I used way too much dye, so it turned out a bit darker than I had anticipated, which wasn't too bad after all, because it turned out to look like this. I'm going to keep it in front of the camera, and I'm not sure if you're able to see it because the weather here is strange. I live in a very light living room. That means that the lighting can be a bit deceiving. I hope you can see it properly, and when I check it on my screen, I hope when I edit it, I hope that I can see it correctly, because I'm now only seeing it on this little camera. Well, this is a hot pink. I hope, yeah, I guess you can see it. This is a hot pink and a dark purple and blacks and speckles, and you can see that this color, this came from the excess dye that sunk to the bottom of the pot when I only used speckle technique to dye this one. So this turned out really wonderful. I'm going to pull it apart so you can see it better, because it looks so great. Look, isn't this totally awesome? I love the way this looks. The blues, the blacks, the purples and pink. It's well, actually, I didn't intend to make it this dark, but this was the darker color I had in mind. But I never expected it. I would be able to dye it in the way that I did. Well, it's great. I'm loving this one. And then I had a second try because I had received the 2 skeins from the company that I bought the yarn from. I'm receiving the other 8 today. I hope they will arrive soon so that I can show you. So if I had to edit it, it's because the mailman is at the door. The second color, I didn't use that much dye this time. I really lightly speckled it on the top and a bit on the bottom. I left quite some white, and it's, like I said, it's the perfect combination. Look, I pulled it apart so you can see it a bit better. It has blue and pink speckles and black and purple, and it looks amazing. I will hold it up a bit like this, you can see it better. Look at this. It's so gorgeous. It's looking so great. I'm so pleased with it. Being able to make this myself, I would have never thought that I could do that. I really didn't. Anyway, I'm really happy with the way they turned out, and they are the perfect combination. Look, isn't this great for a faded shawl, a faded sweater, a faded anything, faded garment, faded cardigan, vest, perfect. But I thought, well, I received these 2 skeins and I'm not able to try something else because I really wanted a third color to complement it. And because one is quite light and the other is quite dark, I thought, well, something in between, or something really different, or something that has the same color in it but really stands out. But I just tried. But I have that white Rico Merino yarn lying around, and that's just a pre-processed yarn from a factory, just from a yarn company, and no indie dyeing involved, and it was just a neutral off-white colorway. It didn't have anything colors in it or anything, but the wool doesn't take the dye that well when the wool has already been processed like that. So it is different than it's going to look on the skein that I'm going to get, but this is what I came up with, and I think this will look great. It's a pastel-y blue and a pastel-y pink with a bit of purple and black speckles, because I really want to have that speckly effect as well. I have some hot pink speckles, and when I hold them together, all 3 of the, oh, I don't want to mess up my yarn. Oh. Let me see. Yes, here I have them. When you mix them up and you place the pink in between, it's the perfect mix. So I think I will dye it up almost in the same way when I use it on the skeins that I receive. And this merino wool is so great, but it does take the color a lot better than the test dyes that I did before. I'm just scaling up my yarn again. So here I have it. And of course that it does take the color a bit better, so it will turn out to look a bit different. But now I have this lying around, and I'm not going to use it because I don't need 2 of the same colors, at least not now. So I thought that I might use it for something else, and I'm going to tell you about that later in this episode. Well, I made notes, which is a shocker because I never make notes, but I did make notes how I made these skeins, because I thought, well, maybe in the future somebody might ask me to dye up something. For instance, my mother-in-law and my mother, they really love to dye and to knit. No, they don't love to dye yarn, they love to knit. And they really want me to dye yarn for them. And I said, well, we can do that. And people, maybe people will ask me to dye yarn for them in the future, like my mother or my mother-in-law. And I thought, well, maybe it is a good idea to write down everything that I have done while dyeing the yarn, where I put the speckles and how much color that I use, things like that. And then I thought, well, if I am going to write everything down, I might as well name them. When I was dyeing my first woolies, like this, I had a song in my mind of the colorway that I was making. So all the time I was dyeing this rose garden, I was thinking, I never promised you a rose garden. I'm not going to sing the song, because when I do that, that country song, it just stays in my head all day. So I'm not going to do that, sorry. And when I dyed up this one, I thought, I'm only happy when it rains. You know the song from Garbage? I mean, she is a rock chick, so this is a great colorway, a great name for this colorway. That's a great name for this colorway. So I'm going to name it I'm Only Happy When It Rains. So this is the I'm Only Happy When It Rains colorway. And then I thought, this one is not so much a rock chickie, but it is a bit tough, and but it's girly. And then I thought, well, I'm going to name it after Avril Lavigne's Complicated song. So Complicated, Only Happy When It Rains. And then this came, my son said, well, you have to name that Euphoria. And I said, why? Well, it really has that pastel and bright pink thing going on in there. And it's so different than your other colors. You really should name it Euphoria. And well, he's my 16-year-old son. I can't say no to him, not for something like this anyway. So, okay, this one is called Euphoria. Not my kind of song, but it's okay. I dyed up this as well. Blue greens, I love that. I've already test dyed with the food coloring too. And with the food coloring I also test dyed something that looks similar, but it has a bit more mossy green in it. I don't know if you are able to see it correctly in this light, but it really is a greeny blue. And because this reminds me of a tropical island, I named it Kokomo, the song from the Beach Boys. After the song of the Beach Boys, Kokomo. Great, isn't it? I did some 2 little test dyes, 2 minis. They are 25 grams, and just a test to see how the colors would work together. And my mother-in-law really loves black and red, so I made this test skein, black and red. As I said, you can see that this wool does not take on the color as well as the skein that I received from the yarn company, that from the Bear skeins. You know, this takes up dye a lot better. You can see it. This black is so vibrant. Well, how can black be vibrant? But it's really saturated, the yarn, and that makes it a lot more true to the color. They really are. So this is a great test for me. It was a great test, and well, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I also had this mini 24, this one is 24 grams I believe, and this is a really blue pinky thing. I did not use any purple, that's just a dye mixing together, which looks great as well. So I'm going to make something like this, but I haven't named it yet because I don't know really how to, if I want to use the same colors or a bit different, or change the placing of the colors. So, well, this was so much fun to dye wool yourself. And I have already been asked if I am going to dye yarn for other people, if I'm going to open a web shop. And I already thought of that, but at first I'm not. And I'm going to tell you why. I have a lot of reasons for it. Oh well, I dropped yarn, so I'm going to grab it. I have a lot of reasons for that. I have a lot of reasons why I don't want to start a wool shop immediately and dye a lot of yarn. One of them is time, and where can I do that? Well, those questions have been answered a little bit. My mother-in-law offered to help. They have a place where I can dye yarn and it's semi-outside, so a lot of ventilation, but it's not that cold in winter, so I would be able to dye my yarn there and with everything being safe. So that's great. But there's this other reason that I don't want to start a web shop immediately or an Etsy shop for dyeing my own wool, and that's because I really want to create a signature style before I do that. I love the way that other artists, other indie dyers I know, I name them artists because I think they are. I love the way that they have their own style, their own signature. If I buy yarn from indie dyer A and buy yarn from indie dyer B, I can tell by the way they look who it's from. Of course, sometimes that differs a little bit and people get inspired by each other, of course, but most indie dyers I know that I really look up to and buy yarn from have this great signature style. They really, you look at their yarn and you know it's from their hands and they made it and it was their inspiration that made this beautiful thing. And before I dye my yarns and before I create a web shop and do anything like that, I want to create a signature style for myself. I don't want to be a copycat. I don't think that I have copied anything with these two because I had this in my head for ages. But maybe I did because you always get inspired by other people. But this is something that I made, that I like. It's my favorite colors. Most of them are my favorite colors. And but when you're an indie dyer and you have a web shop, you cannot only dye things that you would use yourself. You also have to step out of your comfort zone and use other colors. I won't be the person who dyes a lot of neutrals. I won't do that. Even though if I would sometimes do it and step a bit out of my comfort zone, my signature will always be bright and saturated colors and colors that really look intense and maybe sometimes a bit gloomy. And I think that's great. So I won't use any neutrals or something like that. But I don't want to copy anything from other people. I don't want to be inspired too much. I really want to create that signature style. So I'm going to dye and dye and dye yarn. And maybe if somebody would ask me to dye yarn for them, I would say, well, that's good. What would you like? But that would be an exception. So having tested all these things, like I said, I'm going to do something else with this because I'm not going to use it. I'm going to host a giveaway. And I'll tell you more about that later this episode. I'm going to host a giveaway, and in that way I won't have to keep all the yarns that I make. So maybe I'll host a giveaway again. But I'm going to test dye for my mother and my mother-in-law, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I did not only test dyed on yarn, I also test dyed on wool, and with the wool I really went crazy. I used lots of colors and tested almost every color that I had lying around, all the new colors that I received, and I really went crazy. And I don't know how this is going to turn out when it spins up, but this was a really great test. This is a very fine merino wool roving, and I think some colors that have mixed together, like this blue and yellow, blue, no, this is not blue, this is an opal colorway with a yellow, and it really blends up so nicely. And this is red, but it turned out quite orange together with the yellow. And there's this pink section with blue that's really nice. So this is a very variegated colorway. I did not name this because I don't think I will make it again. This is a potluck colorway, but it's great to test like this. And this week I finished another hand spun, so maybe I'll start spinning up this one or the one I showed you last week, which has a lot of dark purple, blues and pinks in it, and quite some white. So I'm very curious to see how that will spin up. And then on to the finished object section. Well, I did finish something. I did not finish any knitting, but I did finish a spinning project. And this is how it turned out. Oh no, this is not dog hair. This is just the Angelina fiber in it. This is made from 3 bats that I bought. 2 of them I bought from Kim Gringhuis Wool Creations on craft fair, and 1 I bought at the craft fair in Tilburg from Dutch Wool Diva. And let me see, on my card, it's hand spun, it has Angelina fiber in it, it has rose fiber in it, it has merino. It turned out to be, and it's 2-ply, I plied it, it turned out to be 320 meters, and I am kind of proud of that, because 320 meters is a lot, and it is almost 100 grams, so 100 grams and 320 meters. I'm very impressed by myself. I never expected to work like that, because I'm not spinning that long. This is a bit thicker section, but it is quite consistent, especially when you ply it. And it doesn't have an over twist. Some sections do, but that was just in the beginning when I applied it. I had my spinning wheel too tight. It was pulling too hard on my thread, but you know, that's fine. It's skeined up like this, and if it's skeined up like this for a while, it just be fine. I will cake it up maybe soon, so it even gets a bit tighter on the cake, and it stays better in shape. And I am, like I said, I'm quite proud of myself that I've made it, and I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I am able to make something with it, and I'm really happy with that, because the first times you spin wool, you don't really get to do something with it except weaving. You can use it in your weaving if you weave, and that's great, because having a yarn that's thicker in one bit and less and very thin in the other is really great for weaving. It looks great. It has a really sturdy look to it, and that's great. Yeah, that's all I can say about this bat. That's all I can say about this skein. Really happy with it. Now I'm going to tell you a bit more about the trip to Amsterdam. I went with my husband Harry and our 2 daughters. Nova is 12 and Sophie is 4 years old. And we went on a boat trip. We went to Amsterdam by train, and when we were there we did some shopping at first. After that we went to the canals and we took a boat ride. And I haven't made a boat ride in Amsterdam since I was a little girl, since I was 5. I think I was 5. And going for a boat ride in Amsterdam is great, but I'm not a tourist in Amsterdam. I've been there 30 or 40 times before, and maybe more visiting friends. and relatives. So I've been in Amsterdam quite a lot of times, and you don't take a boat ride when you go there a lot. That's something tourists do. But our daughter really wanted, our youngest daughter, Sophie, who just turned 4 2 weeks ago, wanted to go on a boat ride. And we said, well, fine, let's do that. We don't have anything else to do. We don't have any plans. Let's just do that and go for a boat ride. And it was surprisingly fun. I didn't expect it to be that much fun. And they explained things that I didn't know of Amsterdam, which was great. We ate at this great Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in Amsterdam. Well, it's not really big, but this neighborhood, and a lot of Chinese restaurants, cafes, and it's the Chinese restaurant we went into. There were some other Chinese people there, and that's always a good thing. And it was great. It was so great. We had this fabulous meal, and when I think about it, I want to go back. Maybe we will, because we also wanted to go to Weldraad when we were there, to her shop. But our youngest was so tired we weren't able to go there. So I was a bit sad about that. You know, when it's 30 degrees Celsius, it's just too warm. You can't just drag this 4-year-old along with you. That's just not possible. So you have to take it easy, drink a lot. And if you have the opportunity, visit Stephen and Penelope. And that's what I did, because that's one of the first things we did when we got in Amsterdam. So I'm going to show you what I bought there. I have not ever been to Stephen and Penelope before in Amsterdam. I have a local yarn shop in Groningen, the place where I work, that is called Juffrouw Lanterfant. And that's a great yarn shop. Who sells great luxury yarns and hedgehog fibers. But it was a lot of fun going to Stephen and Penelope. And I've bought this gorgeous yarn there. I want to make a knit in slide shawl. I don't know if I said it in the last episode, but I do want to make one. And it's a great pattern by Stephen West. It's very, I think, because I haven't knitted yet, but I think it's a very simple, it has a very simple beginning. Where you only knit, but the border is fabulous. I cannot show you because on the same page is also some instructions, so I'm not going to show you that much. I'm going to see, yes, well, this is the shawl, and as you can see, the border is great. It has a really complicated border, at least it looks like that. I've been looking at the pattern and I think it's a bit complicated. But that's a challenge, and I think that's a good thing, to challenge yourself to make things that you've never done before. I've never knitted cables. I haven't. And I had the same thing when I started brioche, and brioche is not that difficult, but always when you try something new, that's a challenge. So I just keep trying and try new things, and, you know, see what happens. If you don't like it, you won't do it ever again, right? So this border, and I think this is such a dreamy, summery shawl. I think it looks great. I do think it's a great pattern to take with me on holiday. But if I start immediately, I think I will finish it before we go on a holiday. At least I hope so. But I found the perfect colors for it. When we went to Stephen and Penelope, I immediately saw this one skein that I wanted, and then I thought, well, I'm going to take these other 3, and it's great. I got this bag. Keep on knitting, kitten. Great, isn't it? It's so sweet. And in this bag are my yarns. This is the Monet colorway that I have already used in my Find Your Fate shawl and in my Mild Magic shawl. And it's a great colorway. This one has a bit more coppery speckles, red copper speckles, than the one I used, but I think it still looks great. So I have the Monet colorway with it, and I'm going to start on top. I think I'm going to use it like this, but maybe not. We'll see. I'm going to start with this pistachio colorway. The name is pistachio, but it has a lot of, it's more avocado to me, because it has that really avocado inside pit color. It looks great with the Monet, and after the Monet I'm going to use Bubble. And I have seen this colorway on Instagram at the headquarters of Hedgehog Fibers. The pictures that she shares on Instagram are great, and I have seen this one, the Bubble colorway, and I think it looks fabulous. So pistachio, Monet, well really it's like a fade, isn't it? The Bubble, and then I saw this, and I'm not a mohair kind of girl, because mohair can irritate me a little bit, but on the knit and slide, and I use it on the border, it's on the bottom side of the shawl, and I'm not wearing that to my skin. I'm wearing the top of the shawl to my skin, at least most of the time. You'll wear it like that, but I couldn't resist this. This is the Monet colorway in mohair. Doesn't this look absolutely gorgeous, fluffy, shimmery, shiny? I think it's great. And look at this combination. Isn't this just too good to be true? I love the way this looks together. I think this is going to be a very dreamy, summery knit and slide, and I really want to start. But I already have an all the angle shawl on my needles, and I will want to start on that. But I'm also expecting the Yarn Along package this week from Stephen and Penelope. I've joined the Yarn Along, I told you last episode, and I'm really curious to see what colors we are receiving. This month is we will receive yarn dyed up by King Fiber, by Lila King, and I'm really curious to see what colors that are and what pattern we're receiving with it. So maybe I'll knit on that. I don't know, but I am really tempted to start using these. Oh my, look. I love blues. I wear a lot of blue and black. I don't wear other colors that much because I'm really light skinned and dark haired, so that's a bit of a strange combination. But if I use too much pink, I turn into a little piggy. You don't want that. Autumny colors look great on me too, but I'm not really someone that wears orange a lot. I do wear things like that in a scarf or a shawl. That's great. I'm going to put on my Dotted Ray shawl so you can see that it really looks great on me. Reds and autumny colors and green and yellow. Burgundy is a bit of burgundy in here, but if I use only pastellies, that doesn't suit me. Well, I've told you about my purchases, I've told you about my works in progress, and I've told you about my finished object. I haven't told you that much about the giveaway, did I? Well, of course, I use up some old yarn I had lying around and test dyed with it, and those were great. They turned out great. I'm really happy with them. But I'm so happy with all the followers that I have on Instagram. I'm so happy with the subscribers that subscribed to me last week after my first episode. And I thought, well, I really want to do something back. So I'm hosting a giveaway, and I will tell you a little bit more about it on my Instagram post that I'm going to post on Instagram today. And I'll tell you a bit more about how you have to enter. But there are two ways to enter. First, on Instagram, when I post the post about the giveaway, you can join by following me, liking the post, and naming a friend. Not 10, not 20, just one entry, no 20 entries, and if every entry you get another go. No, just one entry, one friend, and what I would love to know is what colors you would love me to dye up. Because I am trying to get a bit, like I told you before, I'm trying to get a bit more into going out of my comfort zone. I want to go out of my comfort zone more when I dye up yarn. And I want to try new things. I don't only want to dye up pinks, blues and purples. I want to dye up other colors as well. Of course, rainbow colors are great, but I've tried that before. So please tell me, what colors would you love to see me dye up? Because I am receiving those skeins today, and I'm saving one especially to dye up in colors that are a bit out of my comfort zone. So please don't ask me to dye up neutrals, because I'm not. I think that would be a bit difficult for me. But any other thing you would love to see me dye up, I will make a little. Maybe I'll make a little film of it and put it in my other podcasts. Maybe next week or the week after that. So I might not have all that dye at home. So maybe I have to buy some new dye. So it might take a bit longer for me to film it. So I've taken off my scarf. It's a bit too warm now. It's 25 degrees outside, so it's a bit too warm for a shawl. But when I'm showing you things, I want to put it around my neck. So the giveaway. I'm going to host this giveaway, and it's going to end next week on Thursday. So I'm going to draw a winner on Friday next week. So on the 9th of June, I will draw a winner. I will record a podcast, and I will show you who is the winner and who will receive the awesome colors that I'm going to show you. They're lying next to me, and you will receive it from me, and then I will dye up the yarn in the colorway that you've chosen. And I would love it if you would really explain it elaborately. For instance, please make a yellow and black colorway with pink speckles. I think that will be a really strange combination, but you know what I mean. Or make a really variegated colorway with a lot of yellows and orange and reds. Well, that's good too, but please explain as elaborate as possible so I can make it. And I'm going to pick randomly, so I'm not going to see if somebody chose a colorway that's really comfortable for me. No, I'm not. I'm going to choose it randomly. I don't know, maybe I'm going to make a random number, going to use a random number generator. We'll see. Anyway, what I'm giving away. I'm giving away the Rose Garden colorway that I've dyed up last week. 2 weeks ago already. Rose Garden colorway, I'm going to give it away. This is 100 grams and it's a pure merino. I don't know from which company it is, because I've received this and I did not have to pay for it. I didn't buy it myself. I was gifted this, so I don't know from which yarn company it is. But I do know it's 100% or a merino or a 75-25. And I'm going to give away the Kokomo colorway, because I'm going to try this on a bare hank of merino. And I'm going to give away the Euphoria colorway, named by Kelvin. Besides entering on Instagram, you can also enter on the Sassy Sheep podcast group on Ravelry. When you look me up on Ravelry, SassysheepNL, you can also find my podcast, or you just search into groups, you search Sassy Sheep. You can find me there. So these 4 skeins are going to be given away to someone who would tell me what color they would love me to dye. On Ravelry, you don't have to name a friend. On Ravelry, you can enter by responding on the thread that I'm going to start today for this podcast. So you can enter by saying, well, I would love to enter, and I would love you to dye up this or this colorway, or try this or this. And I'm going to dye it up for you guys, make a little video, put it on the podcast. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Maybe I'm going to use it in a project, because I really think that's great that you guys would you guys would suggest me to dye something, and I will be able to make it. Well, I think we're getting to the end of this episode. It was a lot of fun again. I thought last week was great. I got so many great responses. Thank you again. I know I've said it before this podcast, but I was really overwhelmed. Thank you everybody for watching, and all your great reactions and posts on Instagram, and I was really flattered. So if you want to follow me, please subscribe down below. I will put the show notes. I forgot to say that before. I will put the show notes in the description box and on Ravelry as well, in the thread that I'm posting today. And well, like I said, please join the giveaway. I'm really happy to give away these gorgeous skeins. I think they turned out great. I hope I haven't forgot to say anything to you guys. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and see you next week.